Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a DDD deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an amazing combo deck that basically plays every single summoning mechanic in the entire game, which is super crazy. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Griffin. Griffin is definitely a 3-of in the deck and one of the most powerful combo pieces in the entire build. As if you control a DD monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. And if this card is pendulum summoned, you can actually discard a DD or Dark Contract card to draw a card. And if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can actually add a DD card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of Griffin, which is a really powerful effect. We then play 3 copies of Copernicus. Copernicus is definitely a 3-of in the build because this card is a walking Foolish Burial. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send a DD or Dark Contract from your deck to the graveyard, except another copy of this card. We then play 3 copies of Kepler. Kepler is also definitely a 3-of in the build because this card has the ability, if this card is normal or special summon, you can activate one of these effects, with the effect that you're always going to activate on this card being adding a Dark Contract from your deck to your hand, because it can get you to really powerful cards like Dark Contract with the Gate or Dark Contract with the Swamp King. We then play 3 copies of Swirl Slime. Swirl Slime is so important for this deck. This card is so powerful because it has the ability, if this card's in your hand, you can actually fusion summon a DDD fusion monster from your X deck using monsters from your hand as material, which is really insane to be able to go into a fusion play, including this card. You can also banish this card from your graveyard to special summon a DD monster from your hand, which is a great ability to help you turbo out your cards to your side of the field. We then play 2 copies of Orthos. Orthos is great as a 2-of in the build because this card is actually a tuner, which helps us go in for a lot of different plays. We then play a single copy of DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. This is one of my favorite DD cards and one of the original DDD monsters with a really cool ability. If you special summon a DD monster, except during the damage step, you can target a DD monster in your graveyard and any battle damage your opponent takes becomes half for the rest turn. Also special summon that monster, and if you do, take 1,000 points of damage. But this card is a really cool monster effect as well. But if this card is normal or special summon, you can target a DDD monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And you can only use the effect of this card once per turn, and also once per turn you contribute one other DD monster and then target a monster your opponent controls and banish it. We then play a single copy of Savant Thomas. Thomas is great, but you only need a single copy of this card because it's so easy to get to with your copy of Gilgamesh. It has the ability, during your main phase, you can add one face-up DD Pendulum monster from your X deck back to your hand, which helps you recover one of your monsters out of the X deck so you can fix your scales, or be able to summon it from your hand to your side of the field. This card also has a pretty cool monster effect that you can target a DD card in your Pendulum zone, destroy that card, and if you do, special summon a level 8 DDD monster from your deck in defense position, but for the rest of the turn, its effects, if any, are negated, any battle damage your opponent takes becomes half. We then play a single copy of Go DDD Divine Zero King Rage. Zero King Rage is such a cool 1-of in the deck, and this card is just amazing because it is a 0 scale that helps you out a lot with your pendulum plays. We then play a single copy of Cerberus. Cerberus also helps as a 1-of in the build, just to be able to help you with a bunch of your combos. We then play a single copy of Necro Slime. Necro Slime helps you go in for a bunch of cool fusion plays in the deck, because if this card is in your graveyard, you can actually fusion summon a DDD fusion monster from your X deck by banishing fusion materials from your graveyard, including this card, helping you go in for a bunch of awesome plays. We then play a single copy of Lamia. Lamia helps you out a lot with your combos in the deck because it is a tuner in the build. This card can also bring itself back from the graveyard, which is absolutely amazing. We then play a single copy of Vice Typhon. Vice Typhon is really good in the deck, but just as a 1-of in the build, as this card has the ability to basically help you fusion summon into your other DD monsters. We then play a single copy of Vice King Requiem. Vice King Requiem is a really cool card that I absolutely love playing in this deck because it's very easy to summon out of your scales to your side of the field. It lets you target any number of dark contract cards that you control and destroy them, and if you do special summon this card from your Pendulum Zone, then you can increase or decrease its level by the number of destroyed cards, helping you just get an additional monster out on your side of the field. This card is really helpful in the deck and just a really cool one-of to be able to summon. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's definitely a 3-of in the build, just to stop your opponent from touching the deck. We then also play 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is also a really good hand trap this format, and basically just stopping your opponent's monster effects. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is amazing in the deck because we finally have Nightmare Throne. That helps out in the deck a lot because there's a lot of amazing targets in this build that you can actually search off your copy of Nightmare Throne. We then play a single copy of 1 for 1. 1 for 1 is really good to help you special summon out your level 1 monsters to your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Dark Contract with Patent License. This card is a really cool field spell in the deck, but you only need a single copy of this card, as if your opponent special summons a monster with the same card type, Fusion, Synchro, XZ, or Link as a DDD monster that you control, except during the damage step, you can inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent. Also, while this card is on the field, your opponent cannot special summon monsters with the same card type as that special summon monster for the rest of the turn, essentially locking your opponent down. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a DD monster from your graveyard or a face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck back to your hand, which is a great ability to help you recover your cards. We then play a single copy of Dark Contract with the Swamp King. Dark Contract with the Swamp King is definitely a 1-of in the build because it helps you go in for a bunch of cool fusion plays. We then play a 2 copy of Pyreus Map. Pyreus Map is really cool as a 2-of. I feel like you still need 2 copies of this card. It does have to activate at the beginning of your main phase 1, but you do get to add a monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand, but half your life points, and you have to normal summon that monster out to your side of the field, which is a little bit of a downside, but it's totally fine to be able to do, because usually our plays start off with a 0/0 monster, so this card is really good in the deck to help us just get additional searches. We then play 3 copies of Dark Contract with the Gate. Dark Contract with the Gate is definitely a 3-of because it's basically the Rhoda for the deck, that during the main phase you can add a DD monster from your deck to your hand, which is such a cool ability, but once per turn during your standby phase, take 1,000 points of damage. We then play 3 copies of Nightmare Throne. Nightmare Throne is so powerful in this deck. This card is so good. It has the ability that when this card is activated, you get to actually take a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your deck and either add it to your hand or destroy it, but you're always just using this card to be able to search out the exact Fiend monster that you need from your deck to your hand. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing a few, starting off with Headhunt. Headhunt is really good as a 1-of in the build because this card has the ability to control a DDD monster. You can actually target a face-up monster your opponent controls and take control it until the end of the next turn. But its effects are negated and it cannot declare an attack. And also, if it is a monster special summon from the extract, it is also treated as a DDD monster, which is a great ability to help you keep going in for your plays while also disrupting your opponent. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is really good as a 3-of in the build, just to stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with 3 copies of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is such a powerful 3-of in the build. It's so important to be able to play because it basically gives you your pendulum scales, which is so important in the deck. You're going to be going through at least 2 of these cards in your combos, and it's so important to be able to play 3 so that you can basically get your pendulum scales out on your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Flame High King Genghis. Genghis is really important in the deck because this card is a walking negate and also helps you bring your monsters back from the grave to your side of the field. So another DD monster is normal or special summon to your field while you control this monster. You can actually target a DD monster in the grave and special summon it, and also once per turn when a spell or trap card or effect is activated, quick effect, negate the activation. We then play 2 copies of Flame King Genghis. This card is great as a 2-of in the build with a crazy powerful effect. If another DD monster is special summoned to your field while you control this face-up card, you can actually target a DD monster in the graveyard and special summon it to your side of the field, basically being a smaller version of Flame High King Genghis, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Oracle King D-Arc. Oracle King is great as a 1-of in the build because this card is so generic to be able to summon out to your side of the field, just requiring 2 DD monsters to be able to summon out, which is absolutely amazing. And it's really cool in the deck because any effect that would inflict damage to you makes you gain that much life points instead. So your dark contracts are actually going to make you gain 1,000 instead of losing 1,000 when this card's out on the field. We then play a single copy of Curse King Siegfried. This card is great in the deck because it is a walking negate, which is absolutely amazing because during either player's turn you can target a face-up spell or trap on the field, and that target has its effects negated, which is a great ability. We then play 2 copies of Devicer King Deus Machina. This card is really good in the deck as a 2-of. And this card helps out so much in the deck because it has the ability you can also XZ summon this card using a DDD monster that you control as material, transferring materials to this card, and it also has a really cool ability that once per chain, when a monster card your opponent control activates its effect, quick effect, you can either detach 2 materials in this card or destroy a dark contract that you control instead, and if you do, attach an opponent's card to this card as a material, which is such a cool ability just to gobble up your opponent's cards. And you can also pop cards on your side of the field, like your copies of Patent License, to use that ability, which is so cool so you can get it Patent License effect to go off. We then play a single copy of Wave High King Caesar. Wave High King Caesar is insane in the deck as a 1-of because this card is just so good. It's basically a double negate, which is absolutely insane, and it's so important to be able to play in the deck as a 1-of. We then play a single copy of Marksman King Tell. Marksman King Tell is really cool as a 1-of, as you can also XZ summon this card using a rank 4 DDD monster you control as a material, which just basically gives you an additional material for when you step into your copy of Devicer King. We then play a single copy of Wave King Caesar. Wave King Caesar is really good in the deck to be able to step into and then step into your copy of Marksman King Tell and then go into your copy of Devicer King, which is really important to be able to do. This is basically our main boss monster of the deck. We then buy a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's amazing in this build because it's also a fiend monster, which is so cool to be able to do. Plus, it's really easy to summon in this deck because if you do go second, you can make this card basically as an auto win con against a lot of decks, and it's just really good to be able to play in this build. We then buy a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is just really good at board wiping the field and just a really good option to be able to make in the deck. These are basically your 2 slots that you have to be able to change cards out, but I really like Typhon and Zeus in these positions. But you can play anything that you want in these 2 positions, but I really recommend this lineup for your combos. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of this DDD deck down in the comments down below. And if you guys have never played DDD before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's absolutely crazy how powerful this deck is. Once you get the combos down for this deck, it's absolutely crazy the feels that you can make. It's so fun to be able to play. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.